Good morning students. Already we have learned group 15 element, that's nitrogen family, and this video we are going to learn about group 16 element, that's oxygen family, or it can be called to be a chalcogens, as well as about oxygen, how this oxygen is prepared, what are its physical properties, chemical properties, and uses of occurrence of group 16 elements. Group 16 elements are otherwise called as chalcogens, or it's called to be ore forming elements. As most of the ores are oxides or sulfides, you have learned in metallurgy lessons, and most of the ores, almost you can look at here, zincite, that is the ore of zinc, formula is ZnO, it's an oxide ore. Hematite, it's a ore of iron, that is Fe2O3. Bauxite, ore of aluminium, Al2O3, etc. So it shows that the element belongs to group number 16, that mainly oxygen and sulfur are ore forming elements, and as well as the many things like galena, formula is PbS. Lead, the ore of lead is PbS, it's a sulfide ore. Another one that zinc blende, that is the ore of zinc. Another ore of zinc is other than zincite, zinc blende, that is ZnS. So all these shows that this can be called to be chalcogens. Next, about the oxygen, the most abundant element exists in both as dioxygen in air, that is oxygen above 20% by its weight as well as volume, and in the combined form of oxide. So oxygen can present in the atmosphere in O2, or it can be present in the rock in the form of oxides. Next, together about oxygen and sulfur, that make up about 46.6% and 0.04% of earth crust by weight respectively. In the earth crust, the oxygen percentage is 46.6% by its weight, and sulfur, its percentage is 0.034%. Then sulfur exists as sulfates. Sulfates, about gypsum and Epsom salt. So gypsum, the formula is CaSO4.2H2O, and Epsom is formula is MgSO4.7H2O. So where the sulfur is one of the constituent. As well as it can exist as sulfide. This is sulfate SO4, this SO4, but as sulfide it can be galena, that is PbS, as well as blende, zinc blende, that is nothing but ZnS. Next, it is also present in the volcanic ashes. So in that ashes it mainly contains sulfur. The other elements of this group are scarce, that is very rare, and are often found as selenites and tellurides. Selenites, that's nothing but Se2 minus. Telluride, that's nothing but Te2 minus. So it's present in the anionic form along with the sulfide ores. When sulfide ores are digged from the earth crust, maybe with the zinc sulfide, along that some amount of selenites and tellurides can be the earth crust. Next, the physical properties of oxygen group. Properties of group 16 element. You all know there are oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium and polonium. In that, oxygen alone is a gaseous state, the remaining are in the solid state, and its atomic number is given and mass number given, and the general electronic configuration of this family is called to be NS2 NP4. So here, as oxygen belongs to the second period, so it is 2s2 2p4, helium 1s2, atomic number 8, so you can compare. This is 3s2 3p4, this is argon 3d10 4s2 4p4, this is krypton 4d10 5s2 5p4. Here for polonium, it's a radioactive element, and it is xenon 4 of 14 5d10 6s2 6p4. Next, let's see about the atomic radius. When you move from top to down, the atomic radius increases. So because a new shell, so when you compare the atomic radius of oxygen 1.52, here 1.80, 90, 2.06, But when you come to the polonium, the atomic radius, it's somewhat constant, only slight decrease. Instead of increasing, it's slight decrease. And then it all due to the poor shielding effect which you all studied last year. And then about the density, here the densities are getting increased from left to right, but when you this is 1.3, 2 point, 6 point and 9 point, steady increase the density. Melting point 54, 388, 494, 723, and here there is a decrease. Instead of increasing, there is abnormal. And come to boiling point 90, 718, 958, 1261, 1235. This also there is slight decrease instead of increasing. So that's all the general properties of this group 16. Next, about the preparation of oxygen. So the atmosphere and water contains 23 and 83% by mass of oxygen respectively. In the atmosphere, oxygen is present 23%, but in the water molecule, its percentage is 83%. Most of the world's rock containing combined oxygen, that you all know that the rock may be calcium carbonate rock or magnesium carbonate rock, etc., where we have oxygen. Then industrially, oxygen is obtained by fractional distillation of liquefied air containing nitrogen and oxygen. Other than that, helium, neon, argon, some noble gases. So when we do the fractional distillation of this liquefied air, we can able to separate this oxygen. Then in the laboratory, oxygen is prepared by the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So in the lab, hydrogen peroxide decomposed to give you this oxygen. So hydrogen peroxide decomposed in the presence of manganese dioxide, that can act as a catalyst. The other one, hydrogen peroxide with potassium permanganate, it oxidized to give you oxygen and water. And you can watch this experiment. In this test tube they have taken hydrogen peroxide. Now they are going to test it whether this hydrogen peroxide is decomposed. So for that they are going to have a splinter. Using that, you all know that oxygen can act as a supporter of burning, so it can support combustion. So now when they bring that splinter inside this test tube where there is hydrogen peroxide, if there is oxygen released in that, then this should catches fire. So here nothing happens. When they put the splinter inside this test tube, nothing happens. It shows that the hydrogen peroxide is present as hydrogen peroxide inside, doesn't start decomposing. Now he is going to add a thing called to be a catalyst, that is manganese dioxide. This can act as a catalyst. You all know catalyst is a substance which can increase the rate of the reaction without even taking part in that. So when this manganese dioxide is added over this, it started. Now there is a bubble like thing coming. Now he is going to put this splinter inside the test tube. Let's watch whether it burns or not. See this, it catches fire. So it shows that hydrogen peroxide decomposed to give you the water as well as oxygen. Another method of preparation of oxygen is, it can be obtained by heating metallic oxide or oxoanions. Here there are some metallic oxide. There are two oxides. One is mercuric oxide. When mercuric oxide is heated, it decomposes to give you mercury and oxygen is given out. Likewise, barium peroxide. Barium oxide formula is BaO, because oxidation number +2 -2 get cancelled BaO. But this is barium peroxide. The formula is BaO2. When it is heated, it get converted into barium oxide, that is BaO plus oxygen is getting released. The other one, it can be obtained from oxoanions. Oxoanions means here there is a salt, that is potassium chlorate. When I ionize this potassium chlorate, it ionizes into K++ ClO3-. This ClO3- is called to be oxoanions. When the salt is decomposed or heated, using a catalyst called to be manganese dioxide, it decomposes to give you potassium chloride plus oxygen gas is getting released. The other one, potassium nitrate. Potassium nitrate formula KNO3, it ionizes K plus plus NO3 minus. This can also be oxoanion. And this potassium nitrate salt, when it is heated, it decomposes to give you potassium nitrite, IT, potassium nitrite plus oxygen is obtained. So from metallic oxide as well as from the oxoanion, we can get this oxygen. Physical properties of oxygen. Under ordinary condition, this oxygen exists as a diatomic gas, that's nothing but O2. Always you can represent it as O2. This can obtained at the normal condition. Then you all know this oxygen is paramagnetic. You know what is paramagnetic? A substance which can be attracted by the magnetic field. It is due to this oxygen molecule. In 11th standard you have studied. When you draw the MO diagram for this oxygen molecule, you can find it where two oxygen molecule, one oxygen you have 8 electron, the other oxygen you have 8 electron, totally 16. But 1s and 1s orbital we will not consider, it's a lower energy. But 2s, from 2s onwards, when you arrange, you can find it here pi star x and pi star 2px and pi star 2py orbital. You can find there is one unpaired electron. Here one unpaired electron, here another unpaired electron. Two unpaired electrons are present. If a molecule having unpaired electron, if there is not all the electrons are paired up, if all the electrons present in that are paired, then we can call it as diamagnetic. But this is, there are two unpaired electrons present in this molecule, hence it is called to be the paramagnetic substance, can be attracted by the magnetic field due to the spinning of these electrons. So both the electrons spin at the same direction because clockwise spin. So due to that, that can be easily attracted by the magnet. So due to the unpaired electron, we can call it as a oxygen molecule is paramagnetic. Like nitrogen and fluorine, oxygen has strong hydrogen bonds. So oxygen can make a strong hydrogen bond. Look at this, oxygen is highly electronegative, so it joined with two hydrogen made a water molecule. One water molecule can make a hydrogen bond with the other water molecule. It's all due to the highly electronegative charge of this oxygen atom. So then oxygen exists in two allotropic form. You all know that is one is O2, another one is called to be O3. This can be called to be dioxygen, this can be called to be trioxygen. Then only negligible amount of ozone, that is O3, occurs at the sea level, but it can be formed in the upper atmosphere by the action of UV light. Preparation of ozone, that is O3. In the lab, ozone is prepared by passing electric discharge through oxygen. At the potential of nearly 20,000 volt, about 10% of oxygen is converted into ozone. When we apply the potential of 20,000 volt, we can able to convert 10% of oxygen into ozone. It gives a mixture known as ozonized oxygen. That means it will have ozonized oxygen. That means O3 plus the nascent oxygen will also be present. Then pure ozone is obtained as a pale blue gas. So the ozone can color is said to be pale blue gas. By the fractional distillation of liquefied ozonized oxygen you can get it. Next here O2, when it is heated or it decomposed to give you the two nascent oxygen, that is atomic oxygen, not molecular oxygen, atomic oxygen. The next one, this one molecule of oxygen reacts with one nascent oxygen, you get the gas called to be the ozone, that is O3. The ozone molecule has a bend structure. The structure is bend structure and symmetrical with a delocalized bonding between the oxygen and atom. Here this is bend structure like this, like V-like structure, and there will be a delocalized electron, that is this electron pair will shift, either can be here or it can migrate here, so there will be a delocalization. So that's what mentioned. Chemical properties of oxygen. Oxygen combine with many metals and non-metals to form oxides. For example, metals means if it combine violently react with the sodium. Sodium, when it reacts with oxygen, you get sodium oxide, that is Na2O. So with the metal, non-metal, you know that water molecule, hydrogen is a non-metal. So with that, oxygen reacts to give you the non-metallic oxide. So there are many non-metallic oxides are there: phosphorus trioxide, phosphorus pentoxide, sulfur dioxide, etc. S block element combine with oxygen at room temperature, at normal temperature. I said already in the beginning itself, sodium it belongs to S block element, potassium it belongs to S block element. These all will violently reacts with oxygen at room temperature itself, no need to heat at all. Then some less reactive metal react when powdered. Some of the metals will not react with oxygen easily, so those metals should be powdered and made to react exothermically. When it react, a high amount of heat will be liberated. So but when it is in the lump of metal, if that particular metal is not powdered, then it will not react with oxygen. These powdered finely divided metal are called as pyrophoric. So when set the powder on fire, the heat is liberated during the reaction. Next, about the chemical properties of ozone. Ozone is a powerful oxidizing agent, react with many substances under conditions where oxygen will not react. So ozone can be a good oxidizing agent than the oxygen. Some of the things will not react with oxygen, but in that area ozone can react. For example, it oxidizes potassium iodide into iodine. The reaction is O3 plus Ki. The presence of water get converted into KOH plus O2 plus I2. And this can be a quantitative and can be used to estimate the ozone. How much amount of ozone is present in that mixture can be calculated by doing this experiment. And after doing this experiment, the solution can be titrated against sodium thiosulfate to find out the percentage of ozone present in that. Then ozone is commonly used for oxidation of organic compound. You can look at this. Now, organic compound can be oxidized by using the ozone. So here one alkene, when it undergo oxidation, you are getting the compound called to be a ketone. So can be an example. In acidic solution, ozone exceeds the oxidizing power of fluorine and atomic oxygen. So in acidic solution, ozones will be acting as a very high oxidizing agent. The rate of decomposition of ozone drops sharply in alkaline solution. So when we pour this ozone into the alkaline solution, when we mix the alkaline solution with ozone, its decomposition is getting decreased. Next, about the uses. Oxygen is one of the essential component, without that we cannot even live, or any survival won't be possible. It is used in welding, oxyacetylene welding. So let's see what is oxyacetylene welding. It's a